people study BaZi for years, yet still freeze when they see a chart they have never read before. The problem is not always effort. Often the problem is the way BaZi is taught. Most beginner material gives you pieces: heavenly stems, earthly branches, the 60 Jiazi cycle, how to generate a chart, what each symbol means. All of that matters, but it does not answer the real question. When a new 4 pillars chart is in front of you, what do you look at first? And after that first judgment, what comes next? Without a reading order, BaZi becomes a pile of parts. More pieces do not make you more accurate if you do not know how to assemble them. Think about learning to drive. A good instructor does not begin by asking you to memorize the entire engine diagram. They teach you the steering wheel, the accelerator, the brake, the mirrors, and the order in which to use them. Only then do you practice on the road. But BaZi is often taught the other way around. People are handed the engine diagram first. They memorize symbols, names, categories, and rules. Then, when it is time to actually read a chart, they do not have a workflow. This is the first hidden obstacle. Knowledge points are easy to teach. A judgment process is much harder to teach. The second obstacle is case memorization. When you watch many examples, it can feel as if you understand the system. You recognize a pattern. You hear a familiar phrase. You remember how someone explained a similar chart. So the conclusion comes faster. That speed feels like skill. But when a new chart does not match anything you have memorized, the reading stops. That kind of fluency is recognition, not analysis. You are not truly reading the structure. You are matching the chart against old examples. This is why many learners get stuck in the same place. They are not lazy. They do not necessarily lack knowledge, they lack a starting sequence. A BaZi reading needs one main line. First, find the anchor. Then build relationships from that anchor. Only after that do you read the whole structure. Once this line is clear, the pieces you have learned finally have somewhere to go. The anchor is simple: the Daymaster. Many people know that a 4 pillars reading starts with the Daymaster, but they do not always ask why. Why not start with the year stem? Why not start with the month stem? The Daymaster is the heavenly stem of the day pillar. It represents the self inside the chart. It is the central reference point from which the other 7 characters become meaningful. Once the Daymaster is fixed, the 10 gods can be defined. What the Daymaster controls becomes wealth. What controls the Daymaster becomes officer or 7 killings. What produces the Daymaster becomes resource. What the Daymaster produces becomes output, including eating god and hurting officer. What shares the same element becomes companion energy, such as friend and rob wealth. All of these relationships are built from the Daymaster. Without that anchor, the chart becomes scattered. You may know the names of the 10 gods, but you do not know how the relationship network is formed. After the Daymaster, the second anchor is the month command. The month command is the earthly branch of the month pillar. In many BaZi readings, it carries the heaviest single weight in the chart because it represents the seasonal environment. If the month command supports the Daymaster, the self has more momentum. If the month command controls, drains, or weakens the Daymaster, the self begins under more pressure. So the first sequence is not complicated. Daymaster first, month command second. For example, imagine a Jia Wood Daymaster, born in the month command of Shen Metal. Metal controls wood. So, before looking at every detail, the first direction already leans weak. That does not finish the reading, but it gives the reading a direction. The same logic can be repeated. A Ren Water Daymaster, born in the horse branch, which carries fire. Fire controls water, so the first direction leans weak. A Bing Fire Daymaster, born in the snake branch, which also carries fire. Fire supports fire, so the first direction leans strong. 3 different charts. The same opening process. This is why the starting sequence matters. It gives you an entry point, but it is not the whole system. After these 2 anchors, the real work begins. How do you judge strength and weakness more precisely? How do you identify the pattern? How do you find the useful element? Those later steps depend on whether the first direction was established correctly. This is why adding more content is not always the answer. Imagine someone who has studied for years. They have pages of notes, lists of formulas, and many examples in memory. But when a completely unfamiliar chart appears, they still do not know where to begin. The turning point is not another isolated rule. The turning point is process. Start with the Daymaster. Then read the month command. Then ask how the rest of the chart modifies that first direction. Even if the reading is not perfect, the person can keep moving. And if they get stuck, they know where they got stuck. Without a starting sequence, the reader flips through notes, searches for formulas, and applies impressions. They may finish the reading, but they do not trust it. Then a new chart appears, and the same confusion returns. The difference is not simply effort. The difference is whether the reading has an order. Every new BaZi concept needs a place inside the structure. If it has no place, it may not bring you closer to a correct reading. It may pull you further away. The more pieces you collect, the harder it becomes to know which one to use first. So take a chart you have already read before and try one simple exercise. Begin again. Find the Daymaster. Read the month command. Set the first direction. Then ask how the other 6 characters confirm, weaken, complicate, or reverse that direction. This is only the beginning. A full-strength reading also looks at roots, revealed heavenly stems, hidden stems inside the branches, combinations, clashes, and the weight of each factor. After strength and weakness become stable, the next question is pattern. After pattern comes the useful element. If the useful element is wrong, the whole conclusion can turn in the wrong direction. That is why the first step matters so much. So if BaZi has started to feel harder the more you learn, do not immediately assume you are bad at it. You may simply be trying to read without a sequence. The first step is not to chase another rare term. The first step is to rebuild the order. Daymaster, month command, strength and weakness, pattern, useful element. Then verification through real life. BaZi becomes clear when scattered symbols become a readable structure. You already have enough pieces to begin. What you need is the order that lets those pieces speak to each other. If you want to see how your own 4 pillars are structured, explore your chart at FateFolio.com.